All right. Today on Extra Tuesday, it's story time. I'm going to tell you guys another story. Hello, devoted geeks, and welcome to Geek Devotions, a YouTube channel from a couple devoted geeks who are devoted to letting people know that they are loved. I'm Dallas. I'm so glad you hit the play button. Do me a favor, if you like today's content, make sure you give us a thumbs up, let us know that you like it, and consider subscribing to our channel. As always, make sure you hit the bell symbol so you're notified every time we make a post. Today, guys, I'm telling you a story. Today, guys, I want to take you all the way back to 1999 when I was a wee little lad and living in a small town called Ash Grove, Missouri. And 99 is when I decided to make a decision to serve Jesus and to follow after him. And in that decision, I started going to church, obviously, on a much regular basis. However, at this time, being a young, new Christian, I understood nothing about the scriptures. Like, I hadn't had time to read them. I hadn't had time to really dig in and understand everything was in my faith. But man, when my pastor preached, I paid attention. I was like, man, what is this guy saying? Because I was intrigued by this newfound faith in Jesus that I had. And so one day, my pastor was preaching, and I was in this little bitty church that's called Ash Grove Assembly of God. It's still there. And at the time, our pastor, Pastor Don Miller, was preaching, and he was preaching out of what I now know to be Jeremiah chapter 20. Now, if you're familiar with Jeremiah chapter 20, there's a passage that a lot of people preach about, and it is that Jeremiah is preaching. He's saying that basically, if he can no longer proclaim what God is saying, proclaim the name of the Lord, that there's a fire shoved in his bones that he's not sure he can contain. Now, to a young 15-year-old Dallas, that sounds interesting. I have no idea what he's talking about. And I was like, okay, fire shoved in his bones. What does that mean? And he was talking about how, there's this something and you just got to release it. You just got to let it go. And again, young 15-year-old me, my brain went other directions with this thing. And I was pondering and I was like, what does this mean? What does this mean? A fire shoved in my bones. And why couldn't he hold it in? What would happen if he did shut up? What would happen if he kept this inside? What would take place with this human being, with this prophet of God? So flash forward a couple months later, and again, small town, and my pastor was actually one of the school bus drivers for our local school, and we had a field trip. I was in band. I played trumpet. Actually, at the time, I was playing drums. Now that I remember that. So I was at this band competition, and Pastor Miller drove us all to the band competition. And it was at this other school that was, I think it was in Springfield, actually. It was in town, and a lot of people there. It was kind of a free reign. Got to walk around, do some stuff, talk to people, and laugh, and goof off. It was a fun day. It was a fun day. Fun fact: first time ever played Nintendo 64 and played GoldenEye. And guys, that's an experience. So later, it's about lunchtime. I'm done with whatever I had going on. I'm done playing some GoldenEye, and I'm walking around, and I was like, hey, lunchtime, let's go eat lunch. So I go to kind of like, they have this like set up area for people to eat lunch, and I go to sit down and eat lunch, and there I see Pastor Miller, and I see him, and guys, I had questions for this man. I had questions for my pastor, for my bus driver, for this man of God here, because I, months later, am still dwelling over this concept of a fire shut up in your bones. What does that mean? What does that mean, Don? Pastor Miller? What does that mean? So I sit there and I go, man, I want to ask Pastor Miller a question. I'm a little timid. I'm a shy guy. I know some of you guys, you think I'm loud, I'm expressive, and I'm outgoing. I'm pretty shy at times, especially when confronting people who I don't have a strong relationship with, but it's one of those things. I'm a shy individual. So I was like, I'm sitting there, I'm eating my sandwich, I'm tapping my foot, and like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to ask him. I got to know. I've got to understand what he means by a fire shoved in his bones, because I have these thoughts that are in my head, and I need to get them. I need to release them. I need to let them go to a man who may have answers for me, so I don't go off having dumb thoughts for the rest of my life. I need to know so I can speak intelligently. Intelligently. See, I failed. So finally I work up the courage, and I slide over there, and I sit next to Pastor Miller. I look at him and I say, hey, how's it going? He goes, hey, how's it going, man? So we're chit-chatting, free chit-chat. He's asking me how the competition's going. It's like, going good, a lot of fun. Turns out I have no rhythm. at all. I suck at this drumming thing. I'm just here to hang out with people. And we joke, we laugh for a few minutes. It's like, Pastor Mel, I have a question for you. I had this thing. See, a couple months ago, you were preaching, and you were talking about this dude, this prophet guy, and you said that like if he didn't talk about the Lord, that there was like this fire shoved in his bones that he had to release. And your own words, you said it was like he said it was almost as if he would explode. And I'm thinking about this, Pastor Miller, and I just, help me if I'm wrong, but here's the deal. Now remember, I'm 15. Weird things are happening in here. Let's say there's a fire shoved in his bones. There's this thing dwelling up in him. Wouldn't the resulting explosion cause a much more mass spreading of what's inside of him than him just saying words? The look on your face right now of what did he just say is exactly what Pastor Miller had on his face. So Pastor Miller sits back and goes, you really thought about this one, didn't you? You thought about this for a minute. To which I answered, yeah, I did. I thought about this. I've thought about this for 2 months. I had to get this out. Help me out here, man. Now, here's the deal about Pastor Miller. You have to understand about Pastor Miller. This guy, he's just a nice guy. He really is. I just got saved, and I'm trying to understand who the Lord is. I'm trying to understand the scriptures. My pastor looks like Carmen, which some of you, if you're older and you're into Christian music, you'll know who Carmen is. He looks like that guy, but he's just nice. And he looks at me and he goes, "I don't think it works that way, Dallas." And he took time to walk me through it and help explain some stuff. And guys, I tell you what, I really appreciated it. I appreciated the moment of him being able to go, "That's a dumb question. Let's walk through that." I can't imagine the number of times I've had people in my life, mentors I've gone to with just dumb questions. I mean, dumb questions. And they looked at me going, "You thought about that, didn't you?" Yeah, I did. I'm the guy that thought of that. Help me out. So, here's moral of the story, guys. Here's the first thing. Because grace has been bestowed upon me, I bestow grace upon thee. If there's a dumb question that you guys have about the scriptures and stuff that's just right out there, maybe I say something, you go left field, and you're like, is this what this is? But you're afraid to ask me because you're afraid it's a dumb question. I tell you what, it's okay. Feel free to message us. Leave comments down below. Email us, geekdevotions@gmail.com, or just, message on all our social media. Whatever. So, don't be afraid of dumb questions. Ask your questions and find out the answers. Find out what these things are really about so that you can grow and mature as a healthy individual, as a healthy Christian. That being said, I want to give special thank you to everyone I've ever asked dumb questions to. Short list, I'm going to forget people's names, but I want to thank Pastor Don Miller. I want to thank Pastor Keith Grabill, who was my youth pastor back there. PK. I want to thank you. I want to say, what am I trying to say thank you to Troy Sibley. That guy, he's a cool guy. Rick Hall, Matt Moreno, and guys, this is a plethora of people. I've asked dumb questions to tons of people, and thank you for showing me grace, because you guys helped me. You helped me not to be a heretic. So, guys, that's all we have for you. I hope you enjoyed today's Extra Tuesday. Make sure you remember to follow all of our social media. Also, don't forget, this week we are starting Gotham Gospel, and it's going to be fun. All right, so stay devoted. Peace and love.